Okay.
All right, so today we're here with Dixie, and this is her Roadmap to Success video. And she's only about a couple of months old, and so first I want to commend the guardians for actually having us come out here as preventative care to make sure that they're setting up their house to be successful on bringing a new puppy into the family. So we didn't have a lot of behavioral issues when I got here because she is so young and she's new to the family. But what they wanted to do is make sure that they set up best practices and know how to prevent behavioral problems before they even started. So some things that I want to encourage you to do. Make sure that you're still buying things like this, like the bully sticks and other things, which you can kind of refer to in the video before this one, on different things you can buy to make sure that she's chewing on things that you want her to chew on. She should be getting something like this at least once a day, probably for the next year and a half or so. So up until about 2, dogs will chew a lot, and so we want to make sure to prevent her from chewing on furniture, clothing, shoes, all sorts of things like that, that you're having her chew on things that you want her to chew on. The other thing I want to make sure that we are implementing are different rules. So great ways of helping her gain self-control is things like having her sit before she goes through doorways to go outside. The caveat for this would be that if you think she's running to the door to go outside to go potty, you can go ahead and let her out pretty quickly while we're in potty training mode, because we want to make sure that we're prioritizing getting her out the door to go potty. But as she gets better at that, we'll want to have her sitting before she goes out the door. The next thing that I want to make sure that we're doing is, say we're trying to work on playing fetch with her, have her sit before you throw the ball. This is again helping her learn self-control, and it'll prevent later times when as she's cute right now and jumping up is adorable, it won't be very quickly. Pretty soon she'll be much bigger, and we don't want her jumping up to try to take the ball. Especially with having young kids in the house, we want her to be sitting and patiently waiting to get the ball thrown to her so she's not jumping up and trying to take the ball out of the kid's hands. Another thing is making sure that when you come home or she starts jumping up at you at any point, just avert your gaze, look up, and cross your arms and look away. Wait for her to stop jumping up on you. When she stops, that's the good time to reward her and pet her. So that'll help prevent her from jumping up. I want to refer you to the video before this again on how to help the kids, help her not be nipping at them. One of the biggest things will be kind of doing that ignoring thing. Another will be using toys and bully sticks, things like this, to distract her. Redirect her attention to something that you want her to do, like playing with a toy or something like that. So you can use things in your environment and things in a positive way. Remember, we want to set her up to be successful. So Dixie, good girl. We want her to be successful, so we're going to keep putting her in a position to succeed. So we're going to teach her what to do, so like sitting to get attention and using our petting with a purpose technique. Remember, every time you pet her, you're rewarding that behavior and whatever that is. So right now, if I'm petting her telling her she's being good for laying here and not taking off and going to jump on the kids. So remember to keep petting with a purpose, and then to Dixie. And again, this is part of that redirecting behavior. She wants to go over and kind of play with the kids because they're at floor level, which makes them prime targets for her to want to play with them. So I'm just redirecting her by bringing her back over and letting her chew on the bone. So this is Dixie's Roadmap to Success, and I want to remind you that everything you do trains your dog, only sometimes you mean it.